Hey guys, it's your boy Wolfie. It's come to my attention that there's a new Demon Hunter build. And I'm putting it out there because I think some of you guys might enjoy it more than the Demon's Blade build, but let me explain why it's working this way. So, people found out that unless you have Windfury, Demon's Blades isn't as dominant as everybody thought it was. Without a Windfury in your group, the DPS drops a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but it drops a little bit. But it makes it more competitive with the other stuff in the tree. They're using this information by looking at sims. So we all know how those work. Those are wrong all the time. And we'll go over that in a second. But I just wanted to show you guys this build real quick before I even tell you my results. So, the build is very simple. Instead of taking Fellblade and Demon Blades, you take Blind Fury and Burning Hatred. I kind of like this. It kind of feels nice. It doesn't translate into crazy amounts of damage, but it is very comfortable to I-beam and get your full Fury bar. And Burning Hatred is a nice talent that just feeds in Fury as you're getting Fury Starved. It's nice. You still take Trail of Ruin. This is a single target build. This is not better than the AoE build in AoE. This is only competitive in single target. So you take Trail of Ruin, and instead of taking First Blood, you take Cycle of Hatred. Funny enough, you're still using Chaos Theory. And the way that it works is that you're trying to fish for procs to let yourself I-beam faster. And it's a pretty nice build if you don't want to rely on the RNG and if you don't have a Windfury totem on it. It's pretty close. I've done multiple tests. They're not too far off of each other, like 100 DPS off. I've had more success with Fellblade and Demon Blades is probably because my haste is so damn high. You might have better results with lower haste. But all in all, they're relatively close, except that one time I did it and I had 400 more DPS with Fellblade and Demon Blades. What I've noticed is that this build in particular relies extremely on RNG more than this one does. You're hoping that your Chaos Theory procs off Blade Dances, or you're kind of wasting Fury, and you're hoping that you get enough Cycle of Hatred procs to use I-beam consistently. What I've seen is the lows on this build are way lower than the Fellblade build, but the highs can pretty much match it or go higher. So like, it's a little weird, but you're really hoping on your Cycle of Hatred procs on your Chaos Strike. So it works, it does well, and it removes a lot of the RNG on using your abilities. Let's look how it works first of all. Alright, so let's do our normal opener and stuff. We'll go in, boom, here we go, I-beam, proc all your stuff, go into meta. You guys know the deal, right? See, when this happens, it feels bad because you're not getting the procs, right? Now you get that, all of a sudden you can see your I-beam consistently lowered. In this build, you do not use Blade Dance when the Chaos Theory is procced like the other build. You keep pressing your Chaos Strike because you want to I-beam as fast as possible. Your Blade Dance is literally only for fishing procs, which is fine. It's better than the other build where you just like don't do anything. But as you can see, when you do get procs, it's great because you're just spamming I-beam. It feels fantastic. It's a nice build. It's fun. Again, they're relatively close on DPS. It's not like one is insanely better than the other. This isn't gonna like change your life on DPS for Demon Hunter, but this is a nice flavor build that if you weren't enjoying the other build as much and you wanted to play a less like proc based build on just using your abilities, right? You don't want to pool Fury anymore because pooling Fury for you isn't fun, right? You kind of have to pool Fury with the other build. Not so much with this one. Clearly use your stuff on cooldown, obviously. It's pretty straightforward, right? in times like this, it's great. We've gotten so many Chaos Theory procs. I've been able to use I-Beam more times than I could count, right? Awesome. But you guys get the gist of how the fight works, right? Awesome. That's kind of how the priority goes. You want to use your Chaos Strikes whenever Chaos Theory is procced. You want to use your I-Beam whenever it's up, even if Chaos Theory is procced. You want to use your Immolation Aura when you're spamming Chaos Strikes or you're running out of Fury. Also, you want to keep it up as much as possible because it just does a lot of damage. It's a pretty consistent build. It's nice. And when you aren't getting procs, you want to hover around 100 Fury. So you want to use Chaos Strike, Demon's Bite, Chaos Strike, Demon's Bite, because you want Fury just in case Chaos Theory procs. But you always want to be around 30 Fury as you see I-Beam coming off cooldown to not waste Fury. So there is Fury management in this build. This is the new build I've been seeing. If you don't have a Windfury in your group or you don't have a Windfury in your raid and you don't like the Demon's Blade build, feel free to play this build. It's actually extremely viable and in some cases can do more in hectic cleave fights that have a single target focus for whatever reason. This can do more DPS than the other Chaos Theory. So if you don't have your I-Beam Legendary and you can't do that yet, this is a viable alternative to do that in, just in case. I like it. It's a solid build. I personally like the Fellblade one more, so I'm probably going to stick to that. But this is extremely viable. It is very close, and there's no problem with it. So as we know, I like the Fellblade build more. I like using Demon Blades and Fellblades, and it's mainly because I like having my GCDs up when I need them, just in case. Raid reasons, etc., right? So what I've noticed, and a lot of people keep pointing out, that in the Demon Blades build on Sims, they're using a lot of Fell Rushes. Like 2.5% of your DPS is Fell Rushes. That's 38 casts when I was looking at it over 5 minutes. I don't know where they're getting 38 casts. I thought it was something like 10, because I don't have that much downtime, especially when I'm playing Demon Blades correctly. So I don't know where they're getting this many casts off for Fell Rushes. What I think is happening is the Sims are they're being extremely conservative with their Fury because they're waiting and fishing for Chaos Theory procs. And while theoretically, yes, this is the right way to play, in practice, it isn't always correct because you aren't always going to get the Chaos Theory 30% of the time. You might get it more, you might get it less. It just is what it is. What I've also noticed is that when I'm doing that, especially in demonic windows and even in meta windows, me pulling Fury is making me not cast Annihilation as much as I want to. So my adjustment that actually increased my DPS recently was literally just being more open and free with my Chaos Strikes and not worrying about the pooling Fury as much as I used to. If there is a point in time where I want to pool Fury or want to be a little bit more conservative about it, I'll stay around 60 or 80 Fury, and that's my desired Fury. But if I'm in a situation and I'm pop demonic and like Annihilation is going off, or I have any form of buff, whether it's PI or Bloodlust or anything that jumped my way for whatever reason, boss mechanics, conduits, whatever it may be, I get a little more aggressive with my Chaos Strike and Annihilations, and it definitely increased my DPS. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about because you've been in that same position where you've been like, I got another Blade Dance coming out, so I kind of want to pull Fury, pop that Blade Dance, all of a sudden nothing happens, and all of a sudden you're trying to pull Fury again for your next Blade Dance, and you think to yourself, maybe I missed out on a lot of opportunities in GCDs to maybe get procs of your double Chaos Strike procs, or even of your proc for refunding Fury, in which case you'd have been fine anyway, even if you did proc Chaos Theory later. I've also noticed that when that happens, I get extreme rushes of like Fellblade procking and getting a free cast on it, or I might overcap on Fury, which again lowers your DPS because sometimes you Fellblade into a Demon's Blade, so it could get a little rough. And I think that's the biggest point where people are missing out on DPS, and I think that's the biggest point that's happening on The Sims. As we've talked about before, Sims just seem to be wrong. And I think we're performing a little bit better than what we were. I think we're still literally bottom of the pack, but I think there's a difference between bottom of the pack and viable. Viable means you can be played. There's going to be someone on the bottom regardless, and it's okay if it's us. It's fine as long as we're viable. Ever since I changed this, it has literally made my life different in the game, so I hope this little information helps you and increases your DPS for anyone who wants to stay with the old build. But yes, this new build is awesome, and try it out. You'll probably like it. I kind of like it. I'm going to actually take it into raid next week. Maybe if we can do like a heroic clear or something, I can see it in there before I go into mythic, before my raid leader rages at me. Also, this just came to my head. Another reason why I don't like using Fel Rush for DPS is because sometimes you have to use mechanics. Like, sometimes the guild requires you to do mechanics, or even the Mythic Plus, and like, using your Fel Rush as DPS, when that's the main reason they bring you, is because you're mobile and you can do mechanics on the fly. Just in case something happens, maybe you gotta go hit the gas tank, or maybe you gotta carry something somewhere like you did in Gahoon in BFA. You don't know. Like, I don't like the idea of using Fel Rush for my DPS just because I know there's times where I need it for other things. Or maybe I'm trying to maximize my uptime on the boss and it requires me to vengeful retreat and then dash back in at the perfect time to have maximum uptime on the bosses that are just running out like a DK, because who wants to be in a mobile DK? Ugh. They just have really high DPS that destroys the stratosphere, but they walk slow. I say this, but I have a DK. I love DKs. Yeah. So let's go into Covenant after, right? So as we all know, I'm a Night Fae fanboy as of right now, because the hunt is like literally the great ability for demon hunters. It's fantastic, and that's the cat going off on the side. It's okay, Logic. I'm sorry you're sick, buddy. Yeah, go ahead. You use the bathroom. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. All right, so I keep getting questions about Conduit, so I'm going to put this in here, and I'm probably going to have to say it again later because not everyone's going to see this video and whatever. All right, so if you want to know what you're supposed to get on Conduits, I'm going to teach you how, okay? So first of all, there's this website called Blood Mallet. Now, Blood Mallet is a very nice website because there's everything already simmed for you. It's just out in the open. It's there. Now, what's good about Blood Mallet, let's make this full screen. Y'all don't need to look at my face. Y'all be okay for a little bit, right? Okay, so what happens here is it has every single class once again, right? Cool. Now, if you want to know how to search your Conduit stuff on here, you go to Havoc, right? Cool. Remember, we're not at Renown 26, so make sure you change this. Right now, we're technically at Renown 30, and it's going to be a little bit different next week, so we'll go over that also. So you see right here how Naya is all the way up here, right? Cool. We know that our single target best is Naya. Now, let me tell you this real quick. This is a little bit inflated because you're not always going to get the extra DPS of Naya on every single boss. If you want to scroll down and you're like, but, Wolfie, this doesn't tell me what conduits you're supposed to get. Yes, it does. You scroll down here and it tells you the order of conduits you're supposed to get. So if I look over here, I already know that we're going to 2 potency conduits, and it's going to lead into Naya's Tools of Poison. Awesome. So that lets me know where I want to go. If you don't know what that means that we're going to be going through this path right here. Click on Naya and you're going to be going here. This one, just because I get extra stuff from it. You can use either one of these, it doesn't matter. But that means we have to take this one for our single target DPS to be as high as it is. That also being said, you're not always going to get this on bosses because you have to interrupt. So on spellcasting bosses, you will be doing a lot of DPS, right? But on bosses without casts, you're not going to be getting this. Same thing goes with Corian. Corian is doing a lot of damage, but the Sims are also expecting the target to have over 75% health for 25% of the fight, and we all know that doesn't happen. On some fights, it might even be longer. Some fights, this first 75% of the health is actually way longer than what it shows. Denathrius, I'm looking at you because Denathrius' sword, Remoria, never goes under 75% health. So during the phase where you're on the bottom, you get to hit the sword and the Nathras at the same time. This is a lot of extra damage. It's really nice. It's a really good spec to use on certain bosses, especially the AoE ones, because characters are over 75% of health for a longer period of time, especially on fights like console, etc. It's great. Understanding how your conduits work and your covenant work is more important than just looking at these sims, because they're not going to tell you the individual fights. On Kale, this has absolutely no use because Kale's literally under 75% when he originally drops. But you get the extra damage on the ads. So you have to figure out what's going to give you more DPS. Naya's Poison, and Groove Invigoration, or Wild Tactics, etc. Like, these are the things you want. But if you want to know your path for any covenant on any class, you can go to Blood Mallet, click on the Soul Binds, you click on whatever amount you want, and then you just scroll down and it literally tells you what conduits you use and the path that you take. That's it. It's that simple. And you can check this for patchwork and you can check it for cleave. It both works. Just make sure you change to wherever you are in the renown. That's it. That's how you do it. That's how you find out what conduit you use. And guess what? It's not only for Demon Hunters. You can do this for any class just in case you change. And I hope this information helps you. Remember, it is bloodmallet.com. I use this for a lot of things. It even works for races. It works for legendaries. It works for talents. It works for trinkets. The talent one's a little more complex. And it basically has things for everything. Okay, so use that how you want to, use that how you will. That is what you do for that. I instead of just walking you through each one, I kind of just want to provide you the tools to help you do that on your own. Lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I ruined that. That's not what it is. Yeah, the saying is you can give a man fish and he'll feed him for a day, or you can teach a man how to fish and you can feed him for the rest of your life. I hope the editor cuts that, please, baby. She's not going to do it because she wants to make fun of me on the video, so whatever. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this helps you. I hope you guys like the new build. I don't like it too much, but it is viable, and I'm pretty sure there are people who are going to like that build more than the current build. So play what you enjoy more than anything else, and they're close enough to not really matter. So screw what everybody else tells you, right? I tested both with Windfury and without. I've tested them with all of them. They're very close to the point where it doesn't matter. Play whatever one you like the most. All right, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Please make sure you hit the notification bell, smash the like button, and drop a comment. I want to see what you guys hear. I try to respond to every comment I see, unless I'm too busy and I forget. If you would like a more immediate response, feel free to come to my Twitch channel and I'll answer you live. And it's usually preferred way to talk to me. And if you want to know when I'm streaming WoW, I'm normally streaming WoWs on Mondays. And until we get more viewership on there, it'll stay Monday, and maybe we'll add another day after that. And I usually take off Wednesdays or Thursdays. 6 days a week, I stream between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. Feel free to talk to me when I'm playing other games. I don't really care. You can ask me wild questions regardless, or any other game question. It doesn't matter to me. Or at me on Twitter. That's another way to get my attention fast. It's pretty easy. I'd appreciate that also. I'll respond to you as fast as I see the message. You guys have a good one, though. I hope you guys have a good day. Deuces, my friends.